So how do you profit in the stock market? By getting in what we call areas of value, whereby the upside reward is much more than the downside risk, and you are able to maximize your profits this way. Hey guys, Joey here, top tier miser, trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you this very powerful strategy called the pullback trading strategy. All right, what is this strategy all about? I will explain it in my diagram before we look at some live case study and how you can actually apply this strategy to get in on stocks which are in an uptrend. Right, in an uptrend, the upside reward is much more than downside risk. And if you do spot something, right on the pullback, right on prices falling down, retracing back down, that's where you could time your entry to get in, to ride the rebound and even more upside, to even maximize your profits further, right? So if you want to know what this pullback trading strategy is, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end and give me a like as well. Hit the subscribe button, that would definitely help out the channel and so that you will not miss out on videos like this. So let me go ahead to dive into my whiteboard right now to explain to you this pullback trading strategy. So how can you use this pullback trading strategy? Well, you can see in my diagram right here, this is what we call a stock that is in an uptrend. So a stock that is in an uptrend, it doesn't just push up every single day for months and months, but what happens is that sometimes we may see a little bit of a retracement whereby prices hit a bit of a resistance and it starts retracing down, it starts selling down to a support level. So what do I mean by this? Well, you can see that right over here we have a stock that is in an uptrend, so it starts pushing higher, all right, pushing higher and higher, so it gets higher and higher, which is fine. All right, this is a good thing, that's a healthy uptrend. But the key here is that in an uptrend we also want to see what we call a pullback, right, a retracement. And indeed, right over here in this diagram, you can see that prices actually started to fall, right, to fall. All right, so that's what we call a bit of a pullback. So the question is, when should we think about getting in while prices were to fall? What if you get in and it starts falling even further, right? What do we want to look out for to catch the rebound of it pushing even higher, right? Even higher. That's where you could ride the upside. How do we do that? Well, that's what we call the pullback trading strategy. So very simple. There are a few things you can do right over here in the pullback strategy, but one thing we're going to focus on will be what we call support and resistance level. So in order for prices to push higher, it needs to break what we call a resistance level. So let me go ahead to draw this resistance level right over here. You can see that this is what we call a resistance level. This is a red line right over here. So in order for prices to break and push even higher, it actually needs to break the first high. So this is like the high right over here. As it breaks the high over here, that's where there's a potential for it to move even higher. But the key is that, as I mentioned, it doesn't just go up and up. We might see a bit of a pullback. So when it starts to break a new high right over here, that is a good thing. But what happens is that this resistance will now turn into a support level right over here. So when prices were to go all the way up, maybe somewhere at a peak, so right over here we hit another high, all right, and it starts coming down and down again. And if we do see prices approaching this level, whereby the resistance, right, this resistance has turned into a support level, and we do see prices hovering right above this new support level. So resistance turns support and we are holding above the new support level, and there's some bullish candlestick right here, something like a bullish Marubozu, something like a hammer. We do see candles over here. Well, that could lead the rebound all the way back up again to a new high, and the same thing happens again. It starts to retrace back down again. We have a new support level again right over here, a new support, a new support, a new support. So you can see that the support actually gets higher, all right, in an uptrend. And while the support gets higher, basically what happens is that this pullback trading strategy we are seeing is whereby prices are retracing back down to a higher support each time, and that's where you could get in. I mean, even though prices have gone a little bit higher, but you could start to time your entry to get in to ride even more upside. So this is in a nutshell what we call the pullback trading strategy, right? We want to see prices pulling back down, all right, and stabilizing just above this new higher support level. And if we do spot some bullish candlestick reversal patterns there, or maybe even the trend, the short-term trend turning up as well, that's what could lead the reversal back up again. Okay, so let's take a look at a few case studies to see how we can actually apply this pullback trading strategy real life, right? So this stock is called Broadcom ABGO, one of the strong uptrending stocks since last year. It started to push a little bit higher, but as it pushed higher, there will some pullbacks where you could actually position yourself to get in. So let's dive into this stock right now and see what has happened over the past 1 to 2 years. Right, so you can see right over here, we started to see a bit of a consolidation in Broadcom as it found a support right here around that $800, right? So $800 was a little bit of a support level. It was consolidating from 800 maybe to around the $930, I think, right, 920, right over here, you can see. And as I mentioned, right, as we break a resistance level, like, somewhere over here, if you were to break a resistance level, we might start to push higher. We might start to push a little bit higher, all right? And eventually we can see a pullback as well, and that's where you could time your entry to get in. So for Broadcom, you can see that we actually broke this resistance level. We have been consolidating below 920 for, I would say, about 6 to 7 months. We broke above this 920. You can see went all the way up, retraced back down, right, somewhere around the 900. So 900 became a bit of a support level right over here, and there were some bullish candles coming back. Can you see right over here? There's some bullish candles, a little bit of a doji, a green, bullish bars right over here, all right, and we started to push away from this support, and you can see it started to rebound back even higher, and you can see that as we rebounded back up, we actually broke above this resistance level. You can see it. So let me just put this in red in color over here, all right, and that would be what we call a resistance based on the high that we touched and came back down. So it's something like what I explained in my diagram. We kind of like breached this resistance, went all the way up, came back down, and that would be a new support level. So let's see, whether that support level was holding. So you can see right over here, we broke this resistance and we started to trade even higher, all the way up to around 1160, and we started to see the pullback, right? So you can see that as we pull back, right, we want to stay above this new support level, right? So this new support level would be like the 1000. Yeah, so 1000 would be what we call a psychological level as well. And if you to stay above 1000, whether is it like 1020, 1010, 1030, in this case you can see that it went to around 1040, right? 1040, and some bargain hunting came back and we started to see a rebound from it. So the first thing first is that we want to stay above that new support level that has gone higher, right? It's gone from like 900 to 1000, and 1000 turned from a resistance to a support level. So we want to stay above that level. And the next thing is that as we pull back, right, it's not always the case that it will be so beautiful that it will hit to your support level, touch it 1-2 days and start to rebound. Sometimes it might near it, sometimes it might be a little bit far away, sometimes it might be further away, all right? But the key is that as it pulls back, to near this support level, right, or when we were to see like a bullish candle coming out. So right over here, you can see that there were some bullish candles that were spotted over here. You can see right over here, this is what we call like a spinning top, went down, down, down. We got a spinning top, and the next day we got a pretty bullish bar above the high of this day, and it just started to see that rally. So three things, right? First thing first, we put back, right? We are above the 1000 level. It went to near 1040, which is quite good. As I say, anything near 1000, it could be 130, 120, all right, around there. And you spot something like a reversal candle that could lead that reversal move. So it started to push all the way up, 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 went to a peak. So once that happens, let's go ahead to see what happens again, right? So you can see that as we went all the way up, same thing, we broke this resistance level, right? So that would be, let me just put it as red in color again. So it's a resistance level right over here. We touch it, came all the way down. Same like from here, we touch it, came all the way down. So went all the way down, pump, right? We broke this resistance, and now this resistance would turn to what we call a support level. Exactly, right? So we went all the way up, same thing, and we started to see a pullback again, right? Pullback again. And the key here is that as it pulls back, that this new support level hold, right? So yeah, you can see that this resistance has now turned to a support level. So that would be around that 1160 level. So yeah, somewhere around near here again, you can see some bargain hunting came back. We started to push away, went back to that same resistance. So it's not always the case whereby it goes down, pump, it breaks up, like what we see over here, right? This is like really beautiful. It goes down, it breaks up, goes down, it breaks up, and it goes higher and higher and higher, right? But sometime along the way, we might just see a bit of a consolidation. It could be something like this, right? It starts pushing up, and we see a bit of a pullback, something like this, a pullback, and we might start to move a little bit sideways for a couple of months, and then we might start to push even higher again as we break above that resistance level here. So it's not always the case that every time just go higher and higher and higher. We might see some consolidation for a while before attempting to push higher. So in this case, you can see that for Broadcom, right over here, we did see some consolidation. So let me go ahead to draw a resistance level because there is a consolidation. So that would be what we call a resistance level. You can see over here whereby we traded like sideways. So it's like swing up, down, up, pull back. All right, so same thing as it pull back, did we hold above the 1160 level? The answer is yes, right? We're holding above. You can see we rebounded 1 time, 2 times. So as it nears the 1160, 1170, 1180, that could be where you could time your entry to catch the reversal, right? Based on this pullback trading strategy, in an uptrend, right? Whereby the upside reward is much higher. All right. So let's take a look at Broadcom. Same thing. We gone a little bit higher. We broke finally. Same thing here. We broke this resistance at about 1,300. So I would say 1,300 maybe over here would be a little bit of a resistance. You can see 1, 2, 3, touch it. And over the past few days, we have managed to see quite a firm move, all right, above the 1,300. So same thing, what can happen is that as we break a resistance, now this would be what we call a support level. So let me just turn it to green in color. So you can see what I'm doing, right? As we were to push higher, the red lines, the resistance level was a resistance, became green, resistance became green, resistance became green. So the resistance actually became a support, and you can see that all these support levels, right, actually became higher and higher. So let me just go to draw one more right here. So that would be another support level, as I mentioned, somewhere around that 800. So from this support 800, it went to here, it went to here, it went to here, and it went to here. So we are kind of like consolidating higher. Each time we consolidate higher, we find a new high, but then we pull it back down to that higher support level. Something like what I draw over here. Can you see, guys, that the support is getting higher and higher and higher, all right, as we put back, all right, as we put back, and that's what we call the pullback trading strategies. So now that we have breached this resistance, which has now turned into a higher support level, let's see if we can utilize the pullback trading strategy again, right? You can see right over here, as I mentioned, we went above the 1,300. Now it's about 1,342. So there's only like 3 days. It's only 3 days right now, and maybe we have not really found a very clear resistance level. It could be 1,450. It could be 1,500. Right over here, let's go to draw this. Maybe somewhere over here, we may see a bit of a resistance, but I would say maybe near that 1,450 for now, right? Why? Because you can see that over the past few days, as we headed to the 1,450, we saw what we call a bearish candle. This is something like what we call a doji happening right around the top here. And we saw the next day prices actually put back down, all right, and we are kind of like heading back towards the 1,300 level. So this pullback trading strategy, even though we need a little bit more confirmation, it does not really push up higher and come back down. We just we are just like 3 days above that new support level. But what happens is that now with this support level, a pullback could be done, all right, and this pullback could be near the support level. So any entries could be taken right over here, perhaps if we were to stay above the 1,300 level. So maybe if it hits to like 1,310, 1,305, 320, and we consolidate a little bit more above it, a couple of days, stabilizes, and if we do see like a bullish candle, like maybe right over here, this is quite a bullish candle right here, a hammer, and that could lead that reversal all the way back up again, as we may retest the 1,450 to 1,500 again. Okay, so let's take a look at another case study right here on this stock called Micron. Pretty strong uptrend, I would say, since last year, one of the stocks in our watch list. And let's see if you could actually apply the pullback trading strategy on this stock as well, right? So we want to apply it on stocks which are strong, by the way. I mean, we are looking at getting in on the pullback, right? But the worst thing is to enter into stocks that are in a downtrend and they're going down and down and they're pulling back, and you get in and it goes down, you get in and it goes down even more. We definitely don't want to do that, right, in a downtrending stock. This pullback trading strategy, just to be clear, it must be for stocks which are strong in a very clear uptrend that has the potential to push higher, but as they push higher, it is perfectly fine to see some profit taking, pulling back down, coming back down to some of those, support levels, and that gives us an opportunity to get in again, right? It must be a strong uptrending stocks, not just pulling down and down and down into a downtrend. All right, so this is Micron. You can clearly see that we have been in an uptrend since last year. So this video will be not too much about talking about uptrend and all that, but you can clearly see that an uptrending stock will be what we call one that is forming higher lows. So we can draw an upward sloping channel support line connecting the lows. So lows, lows, lows. The lows get higher, and of course we can look at some trend indicators as well, right? So clearly an uptrend, right? Clearly an uptrend. So let's take a look at how this pullback trading strategy can be applied right over here, right? So you can see that for Micron, right, we have been seeing a little bit of a consolidation, right, with this resistance at about that $72 right over here. You can see, right? So this is not really called pullback. You can see that we went up, pull back down, went up, pull back down. This is what we call a pullback down to the same support level. So it's not really like breach the resistance and went all the way up and come back down, but we are just kind of like consolidating, a kind of like a retracement back down to that same support level. So the support level will be maybe somewhere around that $60. Let me just put this level right here. So it's like moving up and down, swing up, down. So it's just consolidating, not really kind of like pullback, but more like, selling back down to the original support level, all right, and then buyers came back up and it starts to push back up again. So swing down, swing up, swing down. So the support became a little bit higher again, from like $60 to maybe $65. And finally, you can see right over here, we managed to break that $70 to $72. So that's what we call a breakout, right? Breaks above the resistance. And same thing, right? As it breaks the resistance, like I mentioned in the diagram over here, all right, once we break a resistance, we may see some upside momentum, may push up, and let's see if we can see a bit of a pullback, right? And as it pulls back, what happened? Are we still above that new support level? So let's find out. You can see that as we break above the resistance, good, it started to push higher, right? In an uptrend, it went up from 70 all the way to near 80, and we came back down. That's what we call a pullback, right? So first thing, as it pulls back, are we above this new support level? So that was the resistance at 70, 72. Let's just turn this to green in color now again. All right, just what we did for AVGO for Broadcom. All right, so now this is a new support level. Are we above it? As we neared it, are buyers starting to come back right over here? As it's stabilizing, is it just like boom, or like just breaking through that support level? No, right? I mean, it just went down a little bit and we pull back to this support level, and we started to see some stability. All right over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, buyers are starting to come back to push prices higher, and we saw a couple of bullish candles. You can see even though it's a red candle, it's a lower shadow, right? So a lower shadow will be one whereby it went down at the beginning of the day in the morning, but buyers came back up and pushed prices up. So it shows that buyers are trying to defend this new support level. Eventually we got a bullish candle, pump, right? We started to push away from this support all the way to a new high. So right over here, as we push to a new high, you can see that we actually broke this resistance level right over here. So that would be resistance level that we have broken. All right, right over here, went all the way up, and same thing, can we see a pullback now again after hitting a new high over here? Well, indeed, right, we started to see a pullback down, all right, as we near this new support level, went all the way up, came back down to this support level again. So that would be around that $78 to $80 right over here as we pull back twice. And buyers starting to come back, right? Bullish candle spotted over here, and we started to push even higher. All right, so that's pretty much how a pullback trading strategy works. It breaks a resistance, it goes to find a new high, we see profit taking, it comes back down to that new support level that was higher than the previous support. All right, and that's where you could time your time your entry to get into the reversal all the way back up as it retests that same resistance level. So I think right now, let's see, right? So we are at about like $94 right now. So let me just remove all this and see where we are. So you can see that right over here, we have a resistance level, maybe somewhere around that $90. $90, it was a bit of a resistance, right? We hit it here, touch it, retrace back down, and over the past week, yeah, we managed to break above this $90, right? So that's a good thing, right? We are actually trying to find a new high. We have breached the $90 resistance. It's at $94 plus. So that's a good thing, right? As long as we stay above this $90, we may potentially push higher, right? Maybe to 100, to 105, to 110, but then can we see a pullback again? Maybe all the way back to 95, 90 plus, maybe near 100, and then could we see that rebound again, just like what has happened over the past 4 to 5 months, right? So that's key, right? So as you push higher, you want to maybe wait for a pullback. That would be a better reward to risk ratio if you try to time your entry as it pulls back, like what we saw over here. It pulls back, it goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, go up. All right, that is where there would be more upside. All right, so this is Micron, right? We would see higher support right now at about $90, and it might push higher, wait for pullback, comes back down. We see a bullish candles coming again. That could lead the reversal maybe to find a new high again. Alright guys, there we have it. That is pretty much the pullback trading strategy in a nutshell. I've dived into my diagram, explained to you how it works, what we want to look out for after the pullback, and we have looked at some live case study as well. So I hope you're now a little bit clearer, into what to look out for in a pullback trading strategy and how you can utilize it on your own stocks as well. Right? So if you like this video, guys, go ahead to give me a like, smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button. That will really help out the channel, and thank you so much for doing that. I hope that you found value in this video. And if you want to find out, guys, a little bit more on the entire strategy, the one good trend framework. So this is only like a part of it, right? We do look at other things like the trend, the indicators, the candlestick, and all that, all coming together, and that is where your win rate will be much higher by more than 60 to 70%. All right, so you want to combine all these, we call it the confluence of factors, all pointing to the upwards direction, and where everything is all pointing up, it's just so much harder to be wrong, right? And if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire strategy, guys, I'll just place the link below. Attend one of these free webinars that I'm still running, right? Click on the link, register for it, and this way I'll share with you guys my one good trend strategy, which is pretty much a little bit on this pullback thing, all right, this pullback strategy, and even how we have a system, right, a web-based software that filters out stocks, winning stocks, and also guides you on entry and exit. So you want to find out a little bit more on this strategy, the link is right below. Click on the button, click on the link below, all right, register for this free webinar, and I look forward to share with you a little bit more on this strategy and how the system can help you as well. I'll see you soon.